What's up, Raider Nation? It's your boy Omar. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining For Life Raiders Story and our segment of the Couch GMs. Hey, tonight I'm joined by my boy from B-Lock Crew, Arthur, and then my returning champion, Scotty Watty from Death Star Raiders. Jerry couldn't make it tonight. He's feeling ill, so let's hope that he gets well soon. He should be back to join us when we come back. I think we'll probably come back after the draft. So light that torch by hitting the like button. Make sure you subscribe, become a member. Hey, and most important, share. Tell a friend, guys. All right, let me bring these guys on in here. What's up, fellas?
Hello.
What's going on?
Here we are. What's up, bro?
All righty. Man, guys. There's a lot going on out there in football land. I'm happy to have you two joining me here tonight because, I'm reading all this stuff and I'm like, oh, man, this is going to blow up in my head. I got to talk about it. I have to talk about it. So, wait, before I start talking about it, though, there's no drinking game tonight, you guys, because we are strictly business this evening. So, right off the bat, you guys. I'm reading the news and I'm like, Lamar Jackson, owners are colluding. I'm like, wow. You got J.J. Watt. You got a couple of other players like, oh, man, this is crazy. Why, they got, I guess the Ravens hit him with the unrestricted franchise tag, which means other teams can still talk to him. He can negotiate. They've tried to negotiate. We know Lamar, who only made $7 million last season, $7.5 million, something like that. He's been an MVP already, 2 Pro Bowls. He's done a lot. So he's looking over. He's looking at Deshaun Watson's contract and saying, "Hey, I want that 100% fully guaranteed money." Yeah. And it sounds like to me, Baltimore is like, I would have never done that even for Deshaun.
No owner would have. All the owners would have done it.
So I'm like, wow, okay, this is getting interesting. So what's you fella? What's y'all take on this?
Go ahead, Scotty.
He's gonna want. I mean, if Deshaun got 250, he's gonna want 300 guaranteed. I mean, why not? Sounds good to me. If I'm him, this franchise tag thing. It's getting a little ridiculous, man. And I know we're going to get into it with the Raiders too, with Jacob. Yeah. So I'll leave that alone. But this franchise tag thing it just seems a little ridiculous to me. It seems lopsided, leaning towards the team's favor. I don't particularly care for it. If I was the player, I'd be mad as hell about it. But then you got to figure, and I know all the rumors about, Lamar Jackson to the Raiders and this and that. Does he even fit? I don't think he does fit with us. I'm not saying anything about his quarterback play because he's proven that he's a good quarterback. He gets injured a lot. Yes. But but he's a good quarterback. I'm not taking that away from him. But where does he fit? It's hard. Lamar Jackson, he's unique. He's a unique quarterback. He's very unique in his style of play. He's the Michael Vick of this era. He's a Donovan McNabb. You remember he used to run around and doing all that stuff, and people were like going crazy. He was jumping, hurdling shit. That's Lamar Jackson of this era. But let my man get his money, man. Shit, he earned it. Hey, what the hell did Deshaun Watson do to earn that money? He didn't do a goddamn thing. He didn't do shit. I'm not a Deshaun Watson fan. You got too many allegations, bro. If one person says it, all right. Two say it. If 34 motherfuckers say it, you did it. You did it. That's just me.
What about you, Art? What's your thoughts on Lamar Jackson?
Scotty kind of touched on it. One, he's going to want, 280, 300 guaranteed. Second, in order for, is he a fit? That's another great, opinion. But the bigger thing is in order to bring Lamar to town, not only do you have to pay him, not only have to make sure that he's a fit, but you're giving up 2 first-round draft picks. You're giving up the 7th overall pick this year. you expect him to make the team better, and maybe the pick is, you hope it's mid-20s, late 20s. You know what I mean? You hope that he takes us to a Super Bowl and we win it, but you're still not picking. You're giving up a lot of draft capital, and this team needs more than just a Lamar Jackson to turn it around. We need a lot of pieces on defense. The offensive line was, I thought, better down the stretch as far as pass blocking. I thought they run blocked really well all year, but we still need some offensive line help. We need some secondary help really bad. I want a sideline to sideline linebacker that can run and cover. So, I mean, we're not a Lamar. You lock up that money with Lamar, and you're not adding any pieces. You're giving up draft capital. You're giving up a lot to just bring in a Lamar Jackson.
That's a so valid point. That's it. That's it right there.
Yeah.
That's why I thought, okay, maybe it's not colluding. I mean, it takes a complete team to win. You know what I mean? You can't just take. I think Dan Marino proved that you can have the best quarterback, but you need a lot more.
Right.
And I think that's what teams are looking at. You know what I mean? Would it be great to have a Lamar Jackson? Heck yeah. I think all eyes are going to be on the Browns. Let's see how let's see how long you're going to maintain some of those players that, and how relevant you're going to be managing your salary cap while paying Deshaun Watson, his money. And I'm sure that, that the Ravens tried everything they could to keep him. And, but I understand Lamar too, man. I've been playing on my rookie deal. Is this a situation? My thoughts was this a situation where maybe, hey, when he hit MVP, and maybe they did, and I don't know about it, but kicked him some bonuses and showed him some little early on love, so that when it's time to resign, you got you got a little something to lean on. I don't know, because I haven't kept up, that much with what the Ravens have done with him. But I did take a look and see what he made last year. And I'm like, wow, you know what I mean? And yes, I don't think he's finished the last 2 seasons, So that's a factor right now, because your best ability is your availability.
Absolutely.
And to have a $250 million trophy sitting on the on the cabinet and not out there performing can hurt. And I'm not trying to say he's injury prone, you know what I mean? But let's just take a look at the league of mobile quarterbacks, especially last season. Right. You had Kyler Murray out. Yep. You had Trey Lance out. I mean, Trey Lance, it was his inaugural season. Gone. I hear, and we're going to get into draft and all that stuff later, but, that's this mobile quarterback being able to run is such a hot topic. It's great. Yeah, it's great till your guy is shelved because he's got an injury. So, I mean, I think they have to take that. Robert Griffin was one of the people saying, oh, I think they're colluding. I'm like, dude, didn't you blow your knee out and ended your career way too soon? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I think there's a lot that has to be taken in consideration, not just the fact we know he's a good player. He's 26 years old. He can heal right now, but how many injuries before he is a Robert Griffin? And now he's not, he can't play anymore. I don't know, but it's, it's something that I would think about. And I definitely, if you're thinking about a championship, and he's not there yet. Right. Somebody says, well, why he's not trying to have the team deal? This dude just going off his rookie deal. I'm sorry. At least I can't think of anyone who didn't want to get that bag first and then start taking the team deal, a couple of years later. Then they're like, okay, I'm 28, I'm 29. Now I need a championship. And they start taking these team-friendly deals, you know what I mean? But even Tom Brady, in his era, got that bag once he was established, you know what I mean? Got that big contract, in his time. And then, of course, we know, started taking team deals. I mean, I think he only was paid 15 or 20 something $million when he won the Super Bowl. Yeah. You know what I mean? He was not, he was not the highest paid quarterback at all. he kind of understood, but he's also making money in other places and things like that too. So
he had a wife that makes $50 million a year too, so that helps.
Yeah, when you got endorsements, right? Yeah, oh, definitely. You got
You got a wife that can make that kind of cheese. I mean, you can
his wife made more money than he did. I had heard. At least there was a few years there, she was eclipsing old boy. With endorsements.
Yeah,
so
I want to know who got the alimony in that deal.
It was probably a wash. They just walk, they probably just negotiated visitation and that's it. Like, I got money, you got money. We ain't tripping. You know what I mean? So it's like, man. Anyway, guys, real quick, let me just say what's up to the folks out there in the chat. What's up, Fish and Game? What's up, Sunshine Bug? That's my sweetie pie. What's up, Arkham Raider? Holla at you. Oh, Angela's in the house. Spice is in the house. What's up, folks? Thanks for joining us. But yeah, I gotta say, Lamar's not there. He's not there yet he's got to get his good contract. It's just, what is that good contract? Do you go longer? That's what I'm thinking about. Okay, maybe we don't go if you want a lot of guarantee. I mean, right now, you guys, as far as I can see, especially at that amount, no one is close to Deshaun Watson in guaranteed money.
No.
I mean, I just saw what Daniel Jones got. I think he got $82 million guaranteed on a 164 year. Even old boy Aaron Rodgers doesn't have a fully guaranteed. I think at the end a lot of his salary is guaranteed, but it's not right at signing full contract guaranteed.
I think Kyler has the most guaranteed money, and it's still about $100 million short of Deshaun Watson's deal. Somewhere in that area. Deshaun Watson's like 230. I think Kyler Murray got around 130, 132 fully guaranteed. So it's a huge discrepancy, and that's what I think that's why the Ravens put him on the non-exclusive. So let's hey, go out there, Deshaun. Let's see what the market will bear.
The market is right, and then they'll match it, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, they have to match it, and let's see what the market will bear.
But like I say, that's a lot. And like I say, I don't know where the sweet spot is where, Lamar would say, if you go a longer deal, I don't know, 6-year deal or something like that.
Sure.
I mean, I would be nervous with mobile quarterbacks giving up a lot of guaranteed money. I'm sorry. I just see too many of them getting injured and things like that. You think Robert Griffin, who, light it up and, hey, never came back from the knee injury. You know what I mean? So
can I say this? And I don't know if I'm right. But I'm seeing something. I feel like I'm seeing a shift in how these franchise tags are being used and how contracts are being what's the right word? How they're being structured. How they're being structured. Right. How we're manipulating the money here and doing this, and let me put this. I feel like there's a shift, and the money's getting lopsided. There's, like you're saying, you're giving this one player all this money, then the next player's got to one up him, which is happening now. It's Deshaun Watson, and now it's Lamar.
Yep. And
then who's the next one? Who's the next one to come off a rookie contract?
Joe Burrow.
Herbert, is it fucking Daddy Boy?
Yeah,
whatever his name is. Yeah. So if everybody's gonna one up each other, then what's that gonna leave? What does that leave at the bottom? So I feel like something's shifting here. Like things are changing in how we're working things that wasn't happening back, earlier.
Right.
Everybody's always gotten paid. It's different now. It's getting lopsided, is what I'm saying.
Well, and the biggest issue is the inflated contracts that these quarterbacks are getting, and now, of course, these diva wide receivers want. It's not keeping up with the salary cap. So one player is commanding so much of your salary cap to where back in the day they were getting paid, but they were still a small percentage of the salary cap. They were 10, 15% of the salary cap. Now they're commanding upwards of 40, 45% of the salary cap. It's so high that you can't pay any other players. You can't have a stud defensive player and a stud wide receiver because that quarterback commands way too much of the salary cap.
And can I say this? Is it that a question? Is it that before you wanted to be a Raider?
Right.
You wanted to be you didn't give a fuck about that money.
Yep.
You wanted to play for that team because you had the prestige, you had the whole aura about you. Now, give me my money.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Shift, right?
Yeah.
It seems like that's the shift.
Sure.
You know, I don't give a shit where I go. But do you remember who was it? The Manning boys. One of the Manning boys. They got drafted by the Chargers. They said, "Nah, fuck that. I'm going over here."
Eli.
Yeah. He said, "Nah, fuck that. I'm going over. With what? Wait, what?"
Yeah. And then won 2 Super Bowls. Like, ouch.
Right.
While the other guy who went to San Diego, said no Super Bowl. So somebody knew what the hell they were doing.
Yeah. So it's not about loyalty anymore. It's not. All that's out the fucking window. Yeah. Give me my money.
I think to a certain point, especially like I say, coming out of your rookie contract.
Right.
I think most players, when they come out of that rookie, football has a short shelf life. You know what I mean? And so I think, especially when you're coming out of that rookie deal, they want that back. They want it. You know what I mean? And then as they mature and, okay, I got the contract, that's why I think we're really going to be in trouble because, Mahomes got paid and he can go into this, and I heard his contract wasn't too, it was pretty team friendly. It was still, he still, he did it right. And that's, that was the first thing I was thinking about. Like, all right, I wonder, I'm assuming they did, you know what I mean? But like I say, when you got, and I think Minnesota started this with Kirk Cousins with that 100% guaranteed salary. At least that was the first time I had heard about it. And I'm like, wow, really? And then this Deshaun Watson just blew the roof off of it.
That blew the top
100%.
off. That blew the top off.
So that, we'll see what happens. I mean, I love watching Lamar Jackson play. So I know we're going to still see him play. Maybe he sits out if this thing goes south. I don't know, but we'll keep an eye and see what happens. But there's another fella that got the franchise tag, much closer to home. And early on, he had said something, at least I interpreted it because it might be my optimism that made it, made me feel warm and fuzzy. He was saying, hey, if I have to be the hero, pay me like the hero. But I'm okay with getting the franchise tag if you're going to bring in some players. And now it sounds like that didn't sound as positive, at least as I thought it was. And now we hear that Josh Jacobs got the franchise tag, and at least I believe I heard he unfollowed the Raiders, and sounds like he's not too happy about it. So I'm wondering, like I say, I think it's no secret that I have no faith in Josh McDaniels and Ziegler either, because he's guilty by association in my book until, like I said, they're guilty until proven innocent on running our team into the ground. So, what do you guys think about that?
I mean, I think they're gonna fuck Josh Jacobs just like they're gonna fuck every other player on that team. I think they're gonna run this shit into the fucking ground more than they did last year.
Tell me how you really feel.
Yeah, they're gonna run it into the fucking ground more. I think they're gonna fuck Josh Jacobs. They're gonna give him a 1 year, see what he does. See if your attitude. Here's the problem. You didn't want to pick up my 5th-year option, but I still went out there with the good attitude. I earned my 5th-year option, but I still went out there with the good attitude, and I still did what I did. And now this is what you want to do. You don't want to say, hey man, you know what? All right, cool. Josh McDaniels, let's not forget, he wasn't too high up on Jacobs at the beginning of the year. Now he's handing him the ball every fucking play when he needs him, because now you look stupid because you can't run an offense. So, I mean, you're kind of doing these guys a little bit dirty. I mean, in anything in this world, when you're a kid and you clean your room, you get your allowance. You get candy. When you go to work, you get your pay. In any goddamn thing, you get rewarded for working hard. Josh Jacobs had held up his end of the deal. And now you come with this? Fuck no, he's not happy. And then you see what they did to Derek. He see right in front of his face what they did to Derek Carr. Come on, man. Like, how is he going to be happy with that?
Go ahead, Art, and then I'll ask another question.
Go ahead.
No, 100% well said. I mean, he's right. Like I said, he did his job. He deserves to get paid. I don't know what that number is. I mean, the top paid running back right now is $15 million. I think, we come in somewhere around 13 and a half. I'd be totally happy with that. I think he'd probably be good with that. 4-year deal, same thing. Back end of the deal is a little bit of less guaranteed money, some guaranteed money up front, and we get him happy again. I mean, but you're right. They're going to fuck this up. They're going to make a play on the franchise tag. They're going to try to lowball him. They're going to shoot him probably around, 12, maybe 12 and a half and try to lowball him. And yeah, he's going to want to walk. And then you're going to have a disgruntled running back. Who knows who's going to be throwing the ball? Like they're going to do the Patriot way bullshit and ruin a guy who wants to be a Raider, who's proud to be a Raider, who ran hard for us, just led the league in rushing, just led the league in all-purpose yards. You know what I mean?
Can you say again at the end of that last statement? Ruin another guy who wants to be a Raider.
Absolutely.
I didn't mean to interrupt. I just had to make that point.
Sure. No, 100%. Yeah. And this is what we're going to be stuck with. And we saw it last year when McDaniels came to town. I mean, no one's happy about him being in town. And this is, like I said, this is what we're stuck with because of, our idiot owner who knows nothing about fucking football. He obviously didn't learn shit from his dad. So this is going to be our nightmare.
Now, when I read, like I said, the first time I read Jacob's comments, I'm thinking, oh, hell yeah. He's saying, hey, I'll take the team deal if you're going to bring me some good players. Yeah. And this is, and in my mind, this is when all the Aaron Rodgers rumors were heating up. And then we start reading, Raiders are out on Aaron Rodgers. They're not going to pursue Aaron Rodgers. And then this. So I'm wondering if the fact that they're not going to bring in Aaron Rodgers, or at least does Jacobs feel like they're not going to bring in Rodgers, and if it's not going to be a Rodgers caliber QB, all is lost, and that's what got him so pissed off.
Yeah, and now we're talking about that fucking useless fucking Garoppolo. You can't be fucking happy about that shit.
No.
God.
Please no.
I said in another show that's who I thought we're gonna start the season. However, though,
I think so too.
D'Amico Ryan over there with the Texans, who played with, who coached on the 49ers team, who spent some time with Garoppolo. I heard the Texans are going to heavily pursue him. I think they're going to, I think he's trying to do the same thing, at least in my mind, that we wanted to do, bring Garoppolo in, draft a quarterback, at least have, a veteran out there, until the rookie can step in. I don't know.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I thought you was done.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Let me throw this out. Okay, look. Here's what is the elephant in the room. We have a star running back. We have a star wide receiver. We have a really good slot receiver. We have a really good tight end. Why aren't quarterbacks asking us, can we be on your fucking team?
Right.
It's the fucking organization.
Yes.
Yeah. That's the fucking problem.
Yeah.
Speaking of,
Derek Carr said, where can I go? And I believe that somebody came up with a list of 11 teams that are possible fits for him. He said, what do you got for me? Oh, this is what I pick you. We're over here trying to pick the scraps of a fucking quarterback when quarterbacks should be wanting to play for us, to suit up for us with what we got. That's the fucked up part about the Raiders, man.
Yep. And here's the other issue that we're going to have. We are 5th in the league in salary cap. We have the most amount of money to spend, and I am so curious to see how they're going to spend this money.
How are we going to spend it?
Yeah. How are we going to spend it? What are we going to do? I mean, are we going to make a splash? We're going to bring in, someone from the offensive line. We're going to go out and get a cornerback. What are we doing? So
I'm glad you brought that up. I'm so happy you brought up what are we gonna do, because fellas, we got some money to spend, and we got some of our own guys, Raider guys. I don't know how long they've been Raider guys. Some have been, of course, Raider guys longer than others.
Right.
And I'm gonna throw some names out. These are all free agents now, and we're couch GMs. we don't have stats we're looking at. We go at what we saw this season and how we feel about it, what we saw. So right from the gut, I'm going to throw a few names out. Clelin Ferrell.
I got no use for him. I had no use for him. I mean,
I hate this one.
Yeah,
y'all know the story. We drafted him 4th overall.
I got no use for him.
I have to agree with Arthur, but I hate to agree with them. I just like the guy, but damn, man, he just hasn't done it.
Yeah,
he just hasn't done it, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
But I'm always like, come on, man, just break out, just like show him what you got, man. And it's
right.
Yeah.
Nah.
All right, now I'm gonna stay on defense. Our guy, well, he's been our guy for a few seasons. Denzel Perryman.
Pay him.
Pay that man. That's another one they ain't paying.
Absolutely.
How much? He hasn't finished the season with us. He's been injured. Every year he seems to get injured. So are we gonna, how are we gonna approach that? I like Denzel. He's a tackling machine.
Yeah,
I think he's got an interception, and I think he's got a couple sacks on the season. You know what I mean? I wish he could have finished. I wish he would have finished the season out.
And I think his presence out on the field and in the locker room is to be worth something too.
Definitely.
I think so.
Yeah.
I say we pay him. I mean, give him another 2-year contract.
Right.
But I think he's good enough to stay out here. We can't throw the whole checkbook at him. Right. I get that. I dig it. But I say you give him something pretty. Give him something pretty. Give him something, this is fair. Yeah.
All right.
I'd like to keep him.
I agree.
Yeah.
Now we brought this guy in. We traded for this guy, and I'm gonna say that was a bad trade. Rock Sin, cornerback.
Oh, I thought you was going to talk about somebody else.
Yeah, me too.
No. But that guy, but he's not a free agent right now, so I'm not going to talk about it. But he was the reason why we traded our guy for Rock Sin. So anyway, I think you're talking about Jones, but
yeah.
But Rock Sin, we're weak at cornerback. I mean, do we try to bring him back?
No, I think there's better corners on the market that you can spend some money on that, you know what I mean, for what you're going to pay Rock Sin to do. I mean, I just feel like there's a lot better corners out there, and we're going to have to pay up a little bit, but I'm okay with that to get production, to pair someone with, with Mullins and have some shutdown corners that can actually, you know what I mean, hold a freaking wide receiver and actually run a secondary so we can actually get to the quarterback and maybe help Chandler Jones out a little bit, because it sounds like maybe he needs a step more to get towards the quarterback. I mean, picked it up a little bit towards the end of the season, but you know what I mean? It's if we can't cover anybody and, quarterbacks can just drop back, 3-step drops and throw on us because their wide receivers are wide open because we don't have anybody that can cover, we're not going to get to the quarterback. We're not going to get the pressure that we should be getting. So I say pay a cornerback, bring someone in that we know that can lock down his side of the field and pair him with Trayvon and let's go.
I mean, what else is there to say? I mean, it's the truth. He was average. If he had shown a little more something, I'd say okay. But you're right. There's better out there. Why throw the money at him?
Yeah.
And now a last one. Now every time I see this guy, at least when I'm remembering the season, I see that bonehead penalty he did. D lineman Jerry Tillery. Now our D line, it's a point of contention. But what do you guys think about Tillery?
He's had a solid career. He's had a solid career. I mean, what did he come from? The Chargers.
Mm-hmm.
He's had a solid career the whole time. Yeah, you're right. If you put him in a Raider uniform, the only thing you're going to remember that stupid shit he did at the end of that game. I don't know. I mean, what else is out there? I'm not very well versed on all the stuff coming out of colleges. I know the bigger stuff, and I don't know the brass tacks like a lot of these guys. But if there's something else coming better out of college, shit. I mean, what do you have to lose? Pick them up.
There you go.
I mean, if we could bring Tillery back on a team-friendly deal, I'm okay with it. Once again, we're not backing up the Brinks trucks to his house. Yeah. You know what I mean? But there's probably a a team friendly deal that might be able to get done and actually make sense for us. But there's no reason to pay big money for him. There's once again, there's better out there that we could probably spend a little bit more on and be happier with.
Yeah, he's serviceable.
Exactly.
I mean, but there ain't no reason to throw so much money at him because the next guy's serviceable too. Shit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't think Rosie wants him back. I'm gonna go on a limb. And say she's done with him.
What gave you the first clue?
All right, so I'm gonna go to the other side of the ball real quick. A very interesting person, Foster Moreau, tight end.
Go for it, Arthur. I'll let you have it.
I love Foster. I thought he did a great job when Waller went down. Same thing. He can block. He can catch. He does everything we need him to do. When the rumors were floating around about trading Waller, I was like, okay, if the right deal is out there, and I don't want to give away Waller. I mean, I was hearing 3rd round picks, and just ridiculous stuff that's not happening. But if we can package Waller and we can bring in some draft picks and get some draft capital, we just talked about some draft capital. I have no problem with Foster. Same thing. I mean, there's a team friendly deal out there that he can get his money because that's listen, like you said, football. You don't have a long career in football. You got to get paid when you can get paid, and I think there's the same thing. There's a deal out there that we can bring Foster back, and then it gives us some options with Waller because same thing. Waller's had some health issues. I mean, him staying on the field. He's when he's there, he's good. But when he's not, we don't see him. And Foster stepped in over the past 2 seasons and been really, really good when Waller hasn't been around.
Yeah. In the right system, which is supposedly what we're in, that would be a tight end friendly system. I think Foster Moreau, he's a good player. No, we don't throw all the money in the world at him. I don't think he's, but I think he's good enough to stay to warrant, some type of contract. You said something else that I can't remember that caught my attention. But anyways, I'm okay with him staying. He's good,
This draft is deep with tight ends, though. So
Sure.
That's one of the strengths of this. I mean, and there's some Al Davis tight ends. They didn't have a lot of production, but Jesus, they killed it in the combine. 6'6" running 4.5s. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't need my tight end. We have Devontae Adams. We have, like you said, a good slot receiver in Hunter Renfrow. I don't need my tight end to go out there and be superstar. I don't need a Travis Kelce. You know what I mean? We have for what Foster.
I wouldn't mind even though I don't. Well, I'm not condoning Travis Kelce, but I would like a Travis
draft a tight end. I don't think we need to go out and draft a tight end looking for the next Kelce and missing when we need defense, when we need offensive line, when we need other positions, and we have a guy in Foster that I think that we can probably bring back on. Like I said, a fair deal for both that both would be happy with. And like I said, he's going to do in this offense what we need him to do. He's, you know what I mean? It's a tight end friendly offense. He, like I said, I thought he did well. He caught some touchdowns. He blocks. He does a lot of good stuff. So like I said, I don't think we need to, unless we can find a diamond in the rough, the Max Crosby of tight ends, if you will. I don't see the point in drafting a tight end when we need we just have so many needs at other positions.
Alrighty. Now, my guy, he started off a little slow, but he had one of his best seasons with our Raiders, Mac Hollins, wide receiver.
I like him and I don't like him for so many things. I mean, that dude went up and grabbed that ball, and goddamn, I was like, how the hell did he make that catch? And then he had it put straight square in his number, and he dropped it.
Right.
And so for me, again, I don't want to back up the Brinks truck to him either. But would I mind him staying? No, I'm cool with him staying. That's fine. I don't think we need to throw anything crazy at him, though.
Totally agree. I don't think he's the right complement as a number 2 to Devontae. I think he does a lot of good things when he's on the field. I would rather see, bringing in a better complement to Adams. It's going to demand a little bit more attention. I don't think that Hollins demands the attention that maybe another receiver would. But I agree, he does a lot of good things, and then there's other times where you just scratch your head and go, "You got to be kidding me!" And you're just yelling at the TV and ready to throw your remote, and I mean, it kills you. So once again, there's got to be a little bit of give and take there on both parts of what we offer him. But once again, I would love it if we're bringing in a receiver, if we're signing another receiver, we're bringing someone in. I think there's better receivers out there that'd be a better complement to Devontae Adams.
Hey, I'm with Chef B. Hollins is a beast. I hope he comes back. Yes, there was some head-scratching plays, but I just think, even hearing about him in training camp, hear how the guys in the locker room respond to him. He, you know what I mean? He is a ball of positivity and hard work. I'm keeping Hollins. You know what I mean? And of course, I don't think, looking back at the tape, that we would need to roll in the truck for him. Right. You know what I mean? I just think we give him a decent number 2 contract, and I think we could lock up Hollins. And like I say, I think he's good for the team. I think you give him a little bit more time, and I think he'll get even better next season. So I'm definitely.
How many years is he in the league?
How many years? I think he's like 4 or 5. Or something. He's still pretty young. Yeah, he's still pretty young. Yeah. So, and then the last guy that I at least want to mention tonight, we got more free agents, but we will be here all night, is hey, Stidham. What are we gonna do with Stidham?
So this is the question of, for me, are we looking to the future, or I don't want to call this season a throwaway season, but I mean, are we gonna gamble and maybe trade up and go after like an Anthony Richardson, and who looked really good at the combine, but maybe needs to sit a la, I hate to say this name, but Patrick Mahomes for a year and learn, and then we roll him out either late in the season this year, or he starts for us next year in 2024, and we just let Stidham kind of come in, and he knows the offense. We could sign him on the cheap, that sort of stuff, or are we going to make that splash, or are we really going to go after an Aaron Rodgers and trade away a bunch of draft capital and bring him in? So that, for me, Stidham it depends on how we're looking as far as, do we want to trade up and go get a CJ Stroud, who I'd love, but let him sit and let Stidham kind of be that steady guy that knows McDaniel's offense, or are we going to go after it?
I'm gonna sugarcoat this a little bit. Stidham is fucking collateral damage that just came over with McDaniels. Stidham ain't going no fucking where. He came over with McDaniels because he knew the fucking system, and he could throw somebody in there because McDaniels knew that he was going to get rid of fucking Carr. He's proven that he ain't worth the shit. He couldn't beat fucking Mac Jones. What the fuck are we doing? He's collateral fucking damage. They're going to fucking use him. They're going to string him along. He's going to be one of those quarterbacks that you're going to see a stat in 10 years that says this motherfucker won 2 Super Bowl rings on the bench, and he made $200 million and hasn't played 16 downs in his career. He's collateral damage. I don't think we're doing anything with him. I think the plan was to get something bigger, and the football gods ruined these dumbasses' fucking plans of getting Brady, of getting this other guy, and all that bullshit they were talking. And I think Stidham is along for the fucking ride. If anything, they're going to throw him in there. He's going to get his ass whooped all fucking year. But I don't think he's the guy, and I don't think they even. I don't even think they're even considering him to be the guy. I just don't.
Oh, not long term. No, I listen.
No.
Long term. I'm saying if he's going to be someone that we use this year as a bridge to a CJ Stroud that we trade up for, and Anthony Richardson, if we want to kind of take that gamble, and we think that he has the upside and he could be our long term. Stidham's not long term. Like you said, he's going to be that guy that we throw in there. He gets beat up. Maybe we're top 10 draft pick again next year, but we have our quarterback. We think our quarterback of the future, and now we're rolling.
Yeah. All right, guys, just real quick before we go, because that's the next place we're going in this conversation. So real quick before we transition to drafting, if you had your choice, you're looking at free agents, Stidham or Jacoby Brissett, who would you bring in?
If you ask me, I'd take Jacoby Brissett.
I agree. Yeah, I 100% agree.
Because I don't think Jacoby Brissett is available right now.
Right.
No.
I don't think he's a horrible quarterback at all.
I agree. Yeah.
No.
And I think that you could probably bring him in for pretty close to the same price. It's not going to be, we're not talking the difference in 20 million and 10 million. We're talking pretty close money. So the money, the figures would be about right same way anyway. So yeah, I have no problem with Brissett.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah,
all right, just want to say what's up to a few folks in the chat. What's up, Tanya? Thanks for joining. Raider Speedy, Chef B, Turbo, Duran. What's up, guys? All righty, guys. So as we transition now, we're talking about quarterbacks. And I'm sure, like you guys, man, how many mock drafts have you read? Like 2,345?
I can't.
I've seen us draft in mocks. We've drafted. I think I've seen a mock draft where we had probably at least 3 of the top 4 quarterbacks.
Right. Yeah.
Plus, we've had all 3 of the top 3 offensive linemen. I haven't seen one that, it was kind of my favorite one. It was, there it is right there, guys. We jump up. And we say, you know what? We don't care if Ruggs crashed in the car. We going for another car crasher because that's how we do shit. We like car crashers.
Bring it to Vegas. Let him. You know what? Why not?
Can we get a car crasher, please? So he can start crashing some offenses.
Sick.
Okay, I don't know how wrong that statement is. I hope I didn't trigger someone. But I know we're supposed to be talking about quarterbacks, but that was like one of my favorites. And it happened, of course, after he gets arrested. I see a mock draft that he drops down to the Raiders. I was like, oh my goodness,
right.
Classic. So now it has to happen. It has to happen.
This is the problem that I see the Raiders having.
Yeah.
Either you're going to have to figure out how to get higher up in the draft, and I think you're going to deal away some players to get up in the draft, or you're going to bring in a bridge quarterback. And now let's just say Aaron Rodgers. Let's just say it. I hope that doesn't happen, but let's just say Aaron Rodgers. And I'll take – anyways, at the end of the day, Aaron Rodgers is too old, and if he doesn't get it done right away, then he also needs to, at the end of his career, be willing to fucking tank so that we can be up high enough in the draft to draft a quarterback then in 2 or 3 years, whatever it may be. We just got to roll with, get somebody, hope we can get somebody, and we got to bring in a quarterback and say, we got to build them up. And he's going to beat out fucking Stidham. Any of those fucking quarterbacks over there sitting down in college, they're going to beat out fucking Stidham. Stidham ain't the dude. So just bring in the quarterback and, well, let's see if we can coach him up to be something solid. And by the time McDaniels gets fucking fired and thrown out of Vegas.
Yeah.
Well, let's take a look at, I think, correct me if it's different for you guys, but one of the biggest stories I keep seeing a quarterback being associated to the Raiders has been this guy, Anthony Richardson. And just as we touched on earlier, you think about, the mobile quarterback. I think of last season, Kyler Murray injured, Trey Lance injured, Lamar Jackson injured. Now this guy, he's bigger than all of them.
He's a physical specimen.
6'4". Yes. But then, like I say, I'm Raider. I have Raider sensitivity, bro. You know what I mean? Because guess what? I start thinking about Terrell Pryor. You know what I mean? Sure. Oh, that 80-yard run. But we've seen him do some great things, but that staying power, being a quarterback. It's great that you're an athlete being a quarterback. And then I have this other fear, this thing, because McDummy, he undone this before. He up and did it before in Denver. He got rid of the quarterback he had before getting a better one, which is, to me, my only fault. If you're going to get rid of something, you better have something better before you. Anyway, we're not going to go into that. But then he got himself a mobile quarterback. By the name of Tim Tebow.
Yeah.
Tim Tebow lit it up in college. Oh, I mean, we all have to say Tim Tebow. I mean, who would have? I wouldn't have thought that Tim Tebow couldn't be successful in the NFL. You know what I mean? And we saw what happened there. So now I'm thinking, all right, so now you're going to get a bigger, stronger, faster, stronger arm than Terrell Pryor and Tim Tebow. You know, just mix them all up in one guy. And now we got, you know, Anthony Richardson, who I'm going to ask you guys a question, didn't like the nickname AR-15. And you guys, y'all already know I'm a gun lover. I was like, I'm like, how do you not like that name? I'm like,
Yeah.
so you guys help me out here. Tell you know, if you do we like them? I mean, I'm struggling.
I mean, yeah, yeah, shit. I mean, what you know,
I'm still getting an AR-15.
Part of what I think messes a lot of stuff up is like you get a guy like Manziel, and you have him in college, and then you hyped him up, but then you put all the ESPN cameras in his face, and then all the little girls are running around behind him, and then all the little parties, and then the fast cars, and then all the shit, and you fuck him up by the time he gets to the NFL, you know. Mm-hmm. So I don't think anybody really knows what they're gonna do. They look good in college, but what are they gonna do when you get to the NFL? And I mean, look at Max Crosby, fifth round pick. You know, right. Who's from Michigan? Who the hell? Mm-hmm. He's from Michigan. Where the fuck is that at? You know, right. What? Where? And so, if you want to talk about, do I like him? Yeah, because he's fucking massive. Because he's a big motherfucker. Because he's physical as fuck. Because it looks like he can play about any damn position on the field. Sure. Yeah, I'll take him. Yeah,
but I don't know and Art, I don't want to cut you off because I want you to answer this too. But how do you turn a hoe into a housewife? Okay, because here you got a guy he's an athlete. He's going to rely first on his athleticism. You know what I mean? It's so instinctive where we know it takes a lot more than that to play quarterback. So go ahead, Art. I just want to interject that one part.
So I agree. I like Anthony Richardson. For my money, if we're trading up and we're going to get a quarterback, I like CJ Stroud. And I've said that all year long. I've been saying that since September. And now I really want the CJ Stroud that I saw play against Georgia that was mobile but could still sit back there and be a pocket passer. Like you said, he doesn't have to rely on his athleticism to run around the field and truck people and do everything else. He can sit in the pocket, and when things are great, and if we block for him and we build an offensive line, he's going to sit back there and he's going to throw the ball all over the field. I think CJ Stroud, if we're trading up, that's who I want us to go get. Now, if they see something in Richardson that maybe I'm not seeing or that maybe my untrained eye isn't seeing, that's, listen, I agree. I want an AR-15 jersey. I'm all in on the AR-15 nickname. But I agree. I think he's a little bit more of a project. I think he's going to have to sit a lot longer. And that's why I'm saying you sign a Jacoby Brissett, you sign a Stidham, you sign one of those guys to let Richardson sit a little bit longer. And then he learns. And like I said, he's got some footwork issues they got to work on. So there's some things that he's still got to learn how to be an NFL quarterback. I think right now, for my money, if we're trading up, we're giving up draft capital, let's go get CJ Stroud. Let's get him confident in his running skills like he did in the national championship game against Georgia. We know the guy can pass. We know he has a big arm. We know he can do everything that we want him to do. And let's go.
But what are you willing to get? And I'm playing devil's advocate here. What are you willing to give up to get CJ Stroud?
Well, obviously you're giving up the 7th pick this year, which if you go get Lamar, we talked about earlier, if you go get Lamar, you're giving up the 7th pick and not even picking the first round. With CJ Stroud, we're probably trading up to maybe 3-ish to pick him. So you're giving up the 7th. You're probably giving up a number 1 next year, and then possibly a 2 and a late round pick. And you're bringing back a late round pick either this year or next year. I'm okay with that. Do I want to give up 2 number 1s to get Lamar and then pay him and not be able to sign anybody else when I can give up about the same or maybe a little bit less and still sign players and have a quarterback of the future?
We gave up a lot to get Devontae. I forget how many first rounds we get. Did we give up 2 first rounds to get Devontae?
Just a 1 and a 2.
A 1 and a 2. Yep.
First and a 2. A 1 and a 2. So now we're talking about trading. One more time.
It was last year's one, so we're done with the whole Devontae.
Oh, okay. It was last year. You're right.
It's paid. That bill's paid.
Yep.
Do we keep giving up that draft capital? Because at the end of the day, it's got to catch up to us.
Sure.
And if you look at it, what the Eagles had done previous years to this, is they saved all their draft capital, and now they were ready. They were pick of the litter, and they went to the Super Bowl this year.
I have a solution. I have a solution. Bam! My guy, Hendon Hooker. Yeah. Oh my goodness, y'all know it.
There's a hooker in Vegas.
You know you want your hooker jersey. I mean, come on.
Must. It will be the number one seller.
I think next to CJ Stroud, he's the most accurate. I mean, their stats is almost the same. I think CJ is 85 and 12, and I think he's like 80 and 10 or something like that. I mean, you got two accurate quarterbacks. I mean, he tore his ACL. He didn't show up at the combine. He's going to drop. They keep trying to bring him back into the first round, as a projected round he's going to go in. But most mock drafts have him going in the second round, and we have a pretty high second round pick. I think 35 is our pick. I think he'll be right there. Now we don't have to we can use our number one on Gonzalez, that cornerback, or when Jalen Carter drops to us and we want the car crasher, we can just go ahead. We can go that route and hope he's acquitted. And then we can get my guy right here, Hendon Hooker, in the second round, which I think would be a damn good pick. I would not be mad at that.
Let me ask you about him, playing devil's advocate a little bit.
Sure.
Are you concerned at all about his age? I mean, he's 24. As a rookie,
25. I think he's 25. Yeah, he's a little older.
He's older. So, I mean, now we're down the road a little bit already with the rookie court. I mean, Lamar is only 26. So, we talked about bringing in Lamar and what it would take, but now you're bringing in an older quarterback that's a rookie that has to learn, that's coming off an ACL injury. They say that it takes a full year after an ACL injury just to be 100% or close to it. They could play before that, but I mean, to be really back in the groove of things, it might take this entire season. Plus, he's learning. I mean, there's a lot of baggage when you're talking about bringing in Hendon Hooker.
Well, let me paint the picture.
Okay.
So we bring in our guy. We got a consensus that we bring in Jacoby Brissett.
Sure. Yeah.
All right. We draft my guy, Hendon Hooker. Now, to address your concerns, he's 25. He's more mature. He's already got extremely good leadership on and off the field. His character is impeccable. Absolutely. He's not crashing any cars. Okay. He's an accurate passer. He's mobile. You know what I mean? But he's a pocket guy. But he can run and shoot.
Sure.
So he's got everything we want. He's 6'4", got the biggest hands in the draft, can make every throw. I think for a second round pick, I'm seeing 2014, but better. It's going to be harder to get a defensive guy in the first round to do better than Khalil Mack, but it's possible. But I definitely think Hendon Hooker has a lot more upside than our 2014 pick did, because this guy can move around. He's got a great arm. He played in the SEC, so he's played those great defenses. You know what I mean? I believe he beat Alabama. He threw one pick against Georgia. They did lose against Georgia, so I like my guy. I like Hooker, and I think we would all look good in Hooker jerseys.
What about the knee injury, though? That ACL injury?
But it doesn't bother me. If you think of some of the athletes today, a lot of them, those ACLs aren't as bad. I mean, let's go back to Adrian Peterson, who had his thing. Wasn't he had like a ACL, MCL combo? I mean, his knee was blown, and he came back and ran for 2,000 yards or something that season. So I don't think an ACL nowadays is as bad as it used to be. I don't think that's going to be a problem. I think he's going to sit anyway. You know what I mean? Unless we get, a situation where all of a sudden there's a run of injuries on quarterbacks and now he's the last man standing, then that could be how he plays.
As late as he tore his knee, he's going to have to sit. I mean, he's probably not going to be ready until November.
Well, no, I read he should be ready for training camp.
Oh, wow. I'd be shocked. I mean, he tore his knee pretty late. It was like
November, I think. Yeah, it was, but
so
fingers crossed. Come on, man.
Sure.
I don't think you guys have said a couple times, for him to sit behind somebody. I think if we draft a quarterback, he's going to be the starter. The fuck else we got? What else we got?
I said we're bringing in my guy Jacoby Brissett. I led in with that.
Mean, and I'll tell you this:
he's
if you get one of these
system.
rookies in here, if you get any of the rookies that we've been talking about, or even close against Jacoby Brissett, I still think he's going to start.
Dang. Well, hey, if he beats out Brissett, hey, I know I would feel a lot better if we did bring in a rookie and then he literally in training camp beats out Jacoby Brissett. I think I'll be good with that.
No, well,
if
sure.
If I read that headline, I'll have a big smile on my face wearing my Hooker jersey with pride.
Yeah. I mean, that would be the number one sell it down. A Hooker in Vegas? Come on.
Right?
Everybody good. He could be a bench warmer, and we're going to have that damn jersey.
Right? I mean, because you guys, I was sitting here and I wrote some of this stuff down. So, here we go. So, Hendon Hooker, 80-12. I even looked up Anthony Richardson, AR-15. He was 24-15, one season. And then I'm thinking, okay, well, he says he models himself after Cam Newton. Well, Cam had one good season in Auburn, but he was 30-7. A lot more accurate, than Richardson. AR-15 is probably an appropriate name, but he's not semi-automatic. He's got the accuracy of a fully automatic. He's a fully automatic AR. He's not no semi-automatic, man. There's no sights on that. There's no sights on that rifle right now, man.
Just spray and pray. Let it loose.
And then I was looking at a few other guys. I looked at Tom Brady. Tom Brady was 30-17 in college. I'm like, that was terrible. I'm looking at 30-17. I'm like, well, maybe Anthony Richardson got a chance with 24-15. I mean, it's such a crapshoot on, what has the, they can predict who has the higher probability. We've seen so many, hey, ask the Browns, ask Detroit, how many first-round pick quarterbacks can just be an absolute bust. We saw our big guy. We had Jamarcus Russell. He just who could have mentioned that he just didn't have the work ethic? You know what I mean? But one thing they do, I've heard a lot of people say Anthony Richardson reminds them of Dante Culpepper. I'm okay. That's that's not a bad. But then I started thinking, well, everybody that that all these comparison with, none of them has won a championship. And I think that has to, like I say, the mobile quarterback thing for me gets me a little nervous. They're oft injured. I think we shorten their shelf life, their playing life. If we do not get these guys to be a throw first, run only if you have to, go grab that first down, run out of bounds, slide, what I mean?
It's not glamorous to do that. It's not glamorous.
I know. Right. I know.
It's not glamorous to throw the ball anymore. You gotta juke somebody. You gotta take the ball. You gotta fly head over heels. That's what's cute.
I mean, you're making my argument for CJ again, though. That's what he does. He's the throw first guy.
Oh
yeah. So
I would love to get CJ Stroud. I just don't want to pay the money to move up to get him. You know what I mean? Because we need a lot.
Oh yeah.
But you know what I mean? If they give up two first rounds for him, we get him and he plays well, we're not going to care. We're not going to care at all. But keep in mind, 2 first round picks for any of these guys and they fail, we're going to be pissed. That can set us back a while.
Keep in mind, it's almost one because you're trading the 7th to move up to the 3rd. So the 7th, you're still making a pick in the first round this year. You're moving up a little bit, and you're trading a first round pick next year, and probably maybe a second and a late round pick, but you're going to bring back a late round pick also. So you're really only giving up a first round pick next year, which you hope is at least somewhere in the teens. Maybe like you said, CJ starts. He starts day one, and he's not going to set the world on. He's not going to take us to a Super Bowl in this rookie season, but he's going to do some good things, and we make the playoffs, and we scrap and we grind, and maybe it's a late teens or early 20s pick. So you're not giving up like a Lamar type of deal where you're giving up your 7th pick overall this year and whatever pick next year. You're just moving up a little bit, and here's a 7th for the 3rd or whatever it is it's going to take.
Yep. My brother Seamus, trade down, get more picks, and take Hooker. I like it. More picks and a Hooker. Yes. Let's do that. Hopefully they hear it. let's just get that going. We're gonna get that mojo going. So I'm like, let's definitely do that for sure. Because
I mean, we also got to look at, there's some other things to consider here. Again, we're playing couch GM, right?
Oh yeah.
You get a guy, let's say whoever we draft is good. What's the rookie contract? 3 years?
5.
3 years.
4.
Is it 5?
First round, 5-year option.
Plus the 5-year option.
Okay, so yeah. So then you still got all these other players, and then what's your cap? And then I don't know, man. I don't know about this trading up and trading down stuff. I think we
like trading.
One out of room.
If we look at our needs, I like trading down because there's a couple of pieces, at least in my mind. We know quarterback is one of our top needs. So if I'm a GM, I would probably have more of a penchant to trade down to get more picks than I would about trading up. So if my guy, my first quarterback, let's just say my first quarterback was CJ, my second one was Hooker. CJ didn't drop to me, but hey, I got this other need at cornerback, so I can now drop down, and I like Christian Gonzalez. I like, a couple of these other cornerbacks that I know are going to be there, and it's one of my top needs as well. Boom, I'm going to take that, and now I just grab some other picks to maybe be able to do some fancy dancing with, maybe trade one of those or something like that. So I'm down for trading down based on what I have on my board, based on how deep, which, some of these positions are. So, and I'm sure they're thinking that way. I don't know what, we're going to see what's Ziegler's style, you know what I mean? If he's one of those guys who just stay pat, or will he trade down, grab more picks, because he loves his picks? Because to me, that is draft. Getting it right in the draft is the best way to manage your salary cap. Absolutely. You get 4 years of a good player on a deal, So it is so important to hit on draft picks. And if you can accumulate a few more and get some more players that way, and then now you have to go you think free agency comes around again, you don't have to dip as much in the free agency and pay these guys, all kinds of money. I think, the draft is where we got to get. Hold on, guys. But hey, guys, light that torch, you guys. Hit the like button, subscribe, become a member, and tell a friend. Share. All righty. Just want to get that in for the folks back home. So we know we have the draft coming up, guys. Let's just go around the table to kind of end this, and give me your first round pick and your second round pick. If there's a trade, go ahead, throw it out there.
Oh, I've already said it. I'm good with trading up and going and getting our guy at quarterback. If it's AR-15, then let's go. If it's CJ Stroud, I love CJ. I watched him play all year long. So I am totally good with going and getting him. And then second round, we start looking on the defensive side of the ball. I think it's a very deep corner class, and I think some of those guys are going to drop a little bit. So that's when we look. I mean, we're going to have a pretty high pick in the second round. So that's when we start taking a look at defensive backfield, corner, safety, maybe a linebacker. I like the kid from Auburn, the linebacker from Auburn, a lot. That guy is sideline to sideline. He's a tackle machine, very athletic. So that's when you look at the defensive side of the ball for my money. All
righty.
I got to totally agree. I think you take whatever quarterback you can get as soon as you can get them, because you ain't got shit right now.
Yep.
And the rest of your picks, defense. It's the only way it's got to be that way. But I'm predicting that McDavis and Ziggy Boy over there are going to fuck this all up. They're going to get some punter out of Southern Egypt University and fucking make him the top pick, and they're going to fuck it up. And I hope they're fucking listening to me. Fuck them. I have no faith in them. But I think you have to get a quarterback. We don't have a solution to this.
Yep.
And
here's somewhere
that I hadn't touched. We were talking about it earlier. I'll say it quick. There's a lot of talk about this Garoppolo, and I'm like, how is people wanting Garoppolo? He's going to take a huge amount of money to begin with. He's injury prone as fuck, and he is not better than Derek Carr.
No.
How the fuck are people wanting this shit? Like it just blows my mind to hear. I scroll so fast. I'm like, no, I'm not going to give it my attention. I can't do it.
Yep.
I can't do it because it's just some ridiculous stuff that's being thrown out there. But anyways, I think we're going to fuck up the draft royally. Yeah.
Well, I hope we don't.
Right.
Like I say, the last good draft I can think of was 2014.
Yep.
You know, people can argue with me, but I'm hoping, like, and because of Hendon Hooker, I am definitely hoping for a repeat that has even better results than the 2014. And my draft hope is that we drop down, grab a few more picks, and because I know they're deep in cornerback, because I know they're deep in O-line, maybe looking at taking Breezy, that defensive tackle. I think he's a beast. Right. And then getting my guy Hooker, and then we can come back, like I say, to cornerback and offensive tackle or whatever, and the third, fourth, or whatever other pick that we get, especially if we can, depending on where somebody's coming up from, maybe we can get another second round pick. That'll be great because then we could definitely address the quarterback in the second round and grab my guy Hooker, and then also probably can grab a good cornerback or safety or something like that. Because to me, every level of this, like on the offense, we need a tackle. But on the defense, in my mind, we need defensive tackle. We need linebacker. We need safety. We need cornerbacks. You know what I mean? And we can argue which one might be more. Cornerback could be a much higher need. I get that than defensive tackle. So maybe, like I say, the only reason why Breezy comes to mind is because it kind of falls off a little bit. So it kind of depends. There's going to be a couple of good defensive tackles in the second round too, but that's where my guy Hendon Hooker will be. So I gotta reserve that pick for him. So
and here's the thing though, and I may be wrong on this, but isn't there a shit ton of teams? We keep talking about waiting to Hooker to the second round. Right. Isn't there a shit ton of teams that need a quarterback this year?
That's what I'm saying.
There's a lot of teams. Quarterbacks.
Yep.
Could be.
Well, I don't know if that trading down maybe smart. I mean, I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of teams,
there could be a run on quarterback. It could happen. You are absolutely right.
Yeah.
You are absolutely right. So, yeah.
A lot of teams out there. So, we'll see.
All right, guys. Well, that's it for tonight. Let's circle back after the draft. Go for it. By all means. I'm a little insulted that you called me a couch GM. I totally feel that I'm smarter than the fucking idiots in Vegas. So I'm offended by that comment, and I beg to have the couch removed off the front of my name. Wow. Hey, I was proud when I came with that. I'm like, hell yeah. It just reminded me at home talking shit, holding my remote. Like, who the hell put in there? Come on, we all do it. Who put in this guy? Who did that? I'm like,
getting on the group chat, on the text thread, texting everybody.
Yeah. It sounded better than couch coach. So I was like, you know what? That's it.
Nah, I think we all have better qualifications than those fucking clowns over there in Vegas.
Man, I hope you're wrong. Good Lord, I hope you're wrong. But we're going to find out next month, man. We are definitely going to find out, and we will circle back, and either we're going to be happy or we're going to be talking a lot of shit. So, or probably a combination of both. So, it was really good to have you guys, man. I'm glad you were able to join me. I look forward to doing this again. And as you guys know, we go out one way and only one way. Raiders!
No.